environmental issues, fun and lighthearted topics, guest interviews. Kiman, basically anything you want to talk about, we are ready to listen. Here's your guest host, Charles Glidden.
Coming up next, the Be Proud of Them Awards, the T24 Walk, Run, and learn how to be a safe boater. All that's on the show. And of course, we're going to have some open line in there where you can express yourself about what's on your mind. Talk Today is next on Radio Cayman, 50 years strong. Stay with us.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital, always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Talk Today is reminding you
to avoid any statements or comments which are abusive, derogatory, malicious, or defamatory. Do not use indecent language or make any statement that is false or misleading. Call 1-800-534-8255, 949-6990, 949-8037, or WhatsApp us on 925-3261.
And now, back to Talk Today.
Good afternoon to you. I'm Charles Glidden, and thank you for checking in with me this afternoon. I hope things are going well for you as we make our way through this week. It's Wednesday. Brothers and sisters, I can see Friday out there on the horizon. Yes, soon be here. Wednesday, that peculiar day with the most peculiar spelling. I mean, why? Why is Wednesday spelled Wednesday? Why? I guess there was no spell check back then, right? Yeah. You know, after Monday and Tuesday, even the calendar is saying, WTF? Yeah. And speaking of Monday, did anyone notice it was Commonwealth Day?
Yes.
My guess did. I didn't.
We have the Commonwealth Youth Parliament. That's all we stand up.
I certainly didn't do it. I certainly didn't, and I had no idea it was Commonwealth Day. People around me didn't seem to notice it either, which begs the question. I mean, I don't know how important Commonwealth Day is in 2026. I know years ago, I seem to remember there was always a big deal. Commonwealth Day was, it was in the schools and everything. And I guess they still do it. But I guess maybe in the greater population, people are so busy, doing this and that and everything else that's happening. People kind of really don't notice it anymore. It's faded in people's minds as it did in mine. So happy belated Commonwealth Day to all the people of the Commonwealth out there. Well, in our first segment this afternoon, we hear about the Proud of Them campaign, highlighting exceptional and talented young Caymanians. You've probably seen pictures of them on the billboards as you drive around town. Joining me to tell us more are Camille Angel, Youth Services Coordinator, and also another Youth Services Coordinator, James Myles, and Adan Powell. He's the Assistant Chief Officer in the Ministry of Youth, Sports, Culture, and Heritage. Folks, good afternoon and welcome to the studio.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Give us some background on this initiative, the Be Proud of Them, because it features some of our brightest young people. Who would like to take that?
How far back you want to go? From day zero?
Well, whose idea was it? How did it come about?
Well, the first conversation about recognizing young people was a discussion that I had with Dr. Dalton Watler, who was at the time the Director of Sports. And he was trying to have some kind of billboard type campaign to promote and highlight the contributions young people do make in sports around the island to stimulate national pride. And then I said, so what about those that do really good in school and stuff? And so then the discussion was scholar athletes. And then in 2011, that was in 2007, that was the same year that we went about establishing the interscholastic, the inter-secondary track meet. We did that while he was also the director of sports. And in 2011, we had a spate of murders amongst young people, and the narrative was very negative about our youth. And
tough time.
Yeah, and then the National Youth Commission said that we wanted to flip the script because we have so much young people doing such great stuff. Why is this handful of ruffians actually that just making it bad for all the other youth that are doing such exceptional, doing so well? So then the discussion was had at the National Youth Commission, and with persons like Joel Francis and Lennon Christian chiming in and saying, yes, we should call it Big Up and all this kind of stuff. And then we got to thinking about different categories, not just sports and academics, but it spawned into all of the other areas that are being highlighted. Now it's 6 categories that are being highlighted, and we've been doing it for the last 13 years.
So what kind of priority does this take in the ministry?
From the ministry standpoint, good afternoon, everyone. I know last time I was here, I forgot to say good morning. So good afternoon to everyone. Yourself, Mr. Glidden, the Radio Cayman staff, and the listening and the viewing audience. Thank you very much for having us. From the ministry standpoint, we're here to provide guidance towards the ministry, the youth services unit in regards to empowerment of youth, talent development, preserving our culture and our heritage. So in regards to these initiatives, the ministry is full-blown supportive of these initiatives because we do believe that the young people they are our future, and our future relies heavily on them. So empowering them to make the right decisions. We have multiple programs. This is just one of the facets that we actually have, or initiatives that we have. So empowering them to obviously have that knowledge, that recognition that they deserve. Because they do. There's individuals that do a lot of good things, and sometimes they're not being recognized for it. So this initiative is to basically highlight that, say, hey, they're really exceptional, talented young Caymanians out there. Let's get them into the local atmosphere and hopefully international atmosphere as well. So then they're getting recognition, not just here, but throughout the world.
So, you still hear some older people still saying, oh, young people these days, oh gosh, blah, blah, blah. But do you feel that this campaign has had an impact on bringing the best of, young people to the forefront and people recognizing that, not all young people are getting in trouble?
We definitely believe so. It's been since 2013 that the Proud of Them program first began, and that's 180 plus youth over the years. So this has been over 10 years. And what's been really nice is that we've been seeing a whole range of nominations. So this brings in that intergenerational component and that community component because there is a public nomination process. So you're seeing persons of all ages and young people themselves nominating themselves for recognition through the awards program. The awards recognize young Caymanians aged 10 to 25, so even that is a wide range of youth. And last year we had over 100 nominations, and so we continue to call for the community to be involved because we know that at times it may be easy to see something negative or to see the change in our values or attitudes over the years and to assume that, this might not be going in such a positive direction. But when you take a step back and you look at these youth role models, we know you've seen them on billboards driving by. We know that you know them. You know at least one Proud of Them recipient, maybe 2. And what's nice is that on our website at youthservices.ky/proud of them, you'll see the list of our honorees as well, so over the years. And I think that seeing that intergenerational impact, it really gives people more hope as well, because we know that young people are our future, but they're also now. They are our now, our present, and what they're doing right now deserves to be recognized.
All right, we're going to hit the pause button here and take a little break. I'll be right back.
Cayman, it's time to move. 20% of Cayman's population are not meeting the World Health Organization recommended minimum of 150 minutes of physical activity per week for adults ages 18 to 69. That is just 20 minutes a day. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, and movement impacts them all. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
There you go, sir. Thanks for choosing JN Money Transfer.
Boy, thanks to JN Money Transfer, I can stay right here in Cayman and pay Mama bills back home in Jamaica. Her water, light, phone and other bills never late. Every month I pay everything in one place.
Make payments to over 30 companies in Jamaica through JN Money Transfer. Fast, affordable, convenient. Call 1-800-744-1163 for details.
The offices of dermatologist Dr. Wayne Porter will be taking appointments from March 9 to 13 at his Crew Road Clinic. Appointment slots are limited. Whether you're seeking advanced skincare, Botox, filler, cosmetic enhancements, or simply looking to reduce wrinkles, Dr. Porter offers a full-service dermatology and dermatological surgery practice. For more information, email dr.porterkman@gmail.com or call 946-9020 to book your appointment today. That is 946-9020.
Cayman, it's time to move. 20% of Cayman's population are not meeting the World Health Organization recommended minimum of 150 minutes of physical activity per week for adults ages 18 to 69. That is just 20 minutes a day. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases, and movement impacts them all. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Hello, Cayman. This is George. From April 1976, I've been tuned in, listening in, and calling in to Radio Cayman from the first time, the initial broadcast, and continue up until today. So I want to congratulate Radio Cayman and the whole entire staff.
Hold on a little bit longer.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're learning more about the Proud of Them Awards, and that is the focus right now. So, as you mentioned, there's quite a range here from 10-year-olds up to, 25-year-olds? So how do you manage that very wide range when it's you get all the nominations in and going about selecting who's going to get an award?
It's true. It is a very difficult process to narrow down all of those nominations. And for all of those nominations, there are specific things that the selection committee is reviewing for. So for excellence in, say, for example, sports, knowing how they might have represented the Cayman Islands, participated in national teams, etc. So in a sporting context. In the cultural context, it might be how have you performed, represented Cayman in maybe international showcases or residencies, etc., different things. But what's really remarkable is that young people of all ages have excellence to offer, and they show that excellence in different ways. It's really up to the selection committee to do those deliberations. And on our website, where we call for public nominations, we also invite you to read more about the guidance notes and learn about those different supporting materials that can help to explain the candidate and what contributions they've made in the different awarding categories. There are 6 for Proud of Them. They are career, business, which is entrepreneurship, academics, sports, culture, and community service. So again, this makes it even more difficult because there are young people that are making contributions across all of these areas. I will say from last year, about the average age of nominees was 18-ish for quite a lot of them that came in last year. And of course, we encourage nominations across the range of 10 to 25. But either way, regardless of what category they're in or what age, that doesn't stop them from being major contributors, no matter what age or what area their awarding category is in. So it's always difficult. And I'm glad we at the unit don't do those deliberations. A selection committee will review the nominations, and the nominees are actually called to submit supporting documents. So our public nominations are done through the online form at www.youthservices.ky/proud of them. You can also just search for Proud of Them Cayman online and you'll find that webpage. And once those nominations close, and they close on the 21st of March, which is pretty soon, at 11:59 p.m., so right there, the cutoff is right around the corner, then our nominees, they actually receive an automatic email which tells them they've been anonymously nominated, and it prompts them to submit the supporting documents for any of the awarding categories that they're being recognized in. And they have until the 18th of April at 11:59 to submit those documents. So we don't expect people to have all their documents right away, but we encourage them, if you know that you're going to nominate a young person, you don't have to tell them. It can be anonymous, but if you want to and give them that heads up, or as soon as they see that automatic email saying they've been nominated, consider taking a look at that form and seeing what documents you need to submit so you can be ready for that final deadline, because it is a competitive process, and there are so many young people that we always wish we could recognize more young people in the round, and actually the numbers have grown over the years. We're at 15 honorees, of which 2 are from Cayman Brac, and for Proud of Them, there's also 2 rising stars that are being recognized, and that's something that's been a recent development. So the awards program is still growing, but we do have a big alumni base.
But when you have a 10-year-old and a 25-year-old, are they being judged on in the same categories, the same criteria?
I guess when it comes to academics, it's based on your performance at school, no matter your level, if it's tertiary or whatever. If you're getting straight A's, you're getting straight A's, right?
So that's mostly what the real young nominees are for their academics.
Yes.
Or sports in school. And
sometimes sports, if they're into primary school champion boys at their school, captain of the football team that won the PV League and stuff like that. They've had some outstanding sporting and academic contributions from 10 and 11-year-olds. That our youngest awardee was actually 11, and it was Trevor Carmola Jr., and he got it for community service because he rescued a man from a fire. He ran into a burning building. And that's like hero status.
Yeah.
Really?
So goes to show that no matter what age,
you gotta give him a billboard.
You'll know young people who are exceptional.
Yep. I think he actually got awarded some kind of medal at the Heroes Day as well.
Oh,
that same year or the year after. But it was a very significant act. It was a feat that's very heroic. That he got recognized for, and he was high in the ranks in cadets as well. So very involved in the community. So getting that kind of award for community service was almost automatic for him, and he did it at age 11.
Okay, sounds like he's on a pathway to being an action man.
Yeah.
Yes, many of our honorees there, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, you can visit our webpage at www.youthservices.ky/proud of them. There's a button for the honorees. You can click that button and see some of our past honorees and see some of our present honorees as well. And you will be very impressed. We've talked about driving by and seeing the billboards, but when you visit the website and you read their biographies and what they've done and their contributions, you will be even more proud of them.
Take us through, let's make sure the listeners know what they can nominate people for, what the kind of things that they should be looking for in a person before they make a nomination.
If you want me to chime in, so like what I said, what Mr. James said, academic excellence, community service, leadership skills, entrepreneurship, artistic talent, athletic achievements, culture preservation, mentorship, excellent in specific fields. This would be achieving recognition awards or significant accomplishments in a specific field such as science, literature, music, sports, or technology. A good example would be for our leadership skills would be demonstrating leadership qualities through roles in schools, clubs, sports, sport teams, student governments, or community organizations. That is just some examples. A good one would be culture preservation, would be dedicating to preserving and promoting their culture, heritage through activities such as language preservation, culture events, or community education. So those are some qualities that you could possess that to actually be to receive a nomination.
So the important thing to do is to get the actual nomination in.
Yes.
But before that deadline, right?
Yes, nominations and self-nominations are also accepted, and they'll be accepted up until March the 21st at 11:59 p.m., and that is for young Caymanians aged 10 to 25 in the awarding categories of academics, sports, culture, business, which is entrepreneurship, career, and community service.
So supporting documents can come...
They come after that
Yeah, they
point.
come after.
The nominee is prompted to submit those because we notice that this is a better process for our nominators. They can go ahead and nominate a young person they're aware of, provide a testimonial. But when it comes down to providing things like your school grades or, specific membership letters or proof of representing the Cayman Islands on a national level, really the nominee, the young person, has those documents or their parents have those documents. So we ask them to be the ones that submit that so they can finish their nomination and provide that to the selection committee.
So the first step, get the name in.
Yes,
and what you say why you're nominating this person.
Small justification.
Yes. Yeah. Part of the form has like a 300 or 500 word limit that you can fill in on the form itself, the online nomination form. And then you can also attach references and stuff from teachers or people in the community or letters of recommendation that has been written on behalf of the young person. You can share all of those. You can share photos of them in action. You can share pictures of their awards that they have received.
Mostly the nominees share that, so they can share what they have already. We know that the young people and their families tend to collect that information and make sure that that's available, especially when they're getting involved with scholarships or, they're going on to pursue other achievements. So if you have those documents, then this is the time, once you receive that notification that you've been nominated, take a look at those supporting documents and try to submit a very clear picture of your contributions to that awarding category. As Mr. Myles said, if you're very involved in sports, well, show us how and share that with us, because I think that's one of the key takeaways is try to be clear and share what you're doing. It wouldn't be immediately clear to a selection committee, but when they sit down to deliberate, they would want to see all of that and understand who you are and also how you'll make a difference as a role model.
We have to take a break. We'll be right back.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Crime does not pay. The government's official receiver and the Royal Cayman Islands Police are hosting a public auction of high-end electronics and kitchen appliances. This initiative supports the fight against money laundering by removing the benefit of crime. Join us this Saturday, the 14th of March, from 9:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Lions Center. Every bid makes our community safer. Pre-register now at CaymanAuctions.com.
Wouldn't it have been grand if you had purchased land 30 years ago? It may not be 2020, but a perfect vision has never been more clear. Cayman Brac and Little Cayman, poised for growth with an eye on the future. Your land, your history, your future. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
The 6:15 Weather Report, Monday through Friday, is proudly sponsored by CG Britcay. Insurance, health, pensions, life, where people come first.
Hi, this is Gary King from Totally 80s. My special guest this week is Simon Le Bon from Duran Duran. Simon tells us why he's not bothered by critics anymore. I'll also bring you the latest news on the biggest stars of the decade.
This is Totally 80s.
Every Saturday on Breeze 105.3 from 2 to 4. Sponsored by KFC.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we do have a caller hanging on there. So let's go to the phone lines. Good afternoon. You're on the Your Talk Today.
Yeah, Charlie, I just couldn't let this opportunity bypass us here. You know, I think the dynamic that you're talking about is recognizing the youth in the community.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the title of it now? What's it called now?
Proud of them.
Proud of them?
Proud of them.
But, yeah, I can't help but thinking that, you know, what Radio Cayman was doing 40 years ago. You go back now to the mid-'70s when it was airing on a weekly basis. I'm not too sure. You might have paid a little bit into this in a lot of years. Accent on Youth.
That was a program.
And a program was a Radio Cayman here. And also looking back at some of the programs that the service clubs had in motion, which they were, you know, like the one that I'm most familiar with, like the Lions and some of the other ones had, but was the Kiwanis Key Club.
Mm-hmm.
You know, which was giving, you know, a lot of to the young folks. And I think James there came in, I believe, James, what was it? What did we call the youth extensive thing that you were sort of championing in the I guess that was what 2012, 13, somewhere in there.
I don't know. It could be YCLA or it could be Youth Flex Radio Show. It could be.
Well, okay. Youth Flex, that was it.
Yeah,
but
Youth Flex Radio Show. I remember when you showing us how to cut tape.
The Youth Flex.
We started there, and then we ended up going to CD, and then we went live, and
well, the Youth
almost
Flex
200
was,
young
was just
a Youth Flex as well.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were on air for 20 years.
You know, yeah, and well, you know, I think somewhere along the line, it got a little more officialdom to it, as what the process is going forward now. But In fact, Radio Cayman used to encompass from, let's say, a year and a half to the high tens, because we had the in Chalo, I think you might have even starting on some of these accent on youth, Children's Roundabout. Where we,
I remember. Now everybody used to call him Uncle Chalo, and still call him Uncle Chalo.
yeah. So but I'm glad to see that this thing is the recognition of a youth has really upped its ante. I guess that's what they call it. Over the last 4 or 5 years, and hopefully it'll just keep going, getting stronger, because they are the future. And the more we can put between their ears positively, the better off the whole community is going to be. So,
all right.
Anyway,
well, thank you for bringing those memories.
That's right.
Yeah, and that is just Radio Cayman celebrating 50 plus years in the community, and this is just a little reminder of some of the roles that the station has played over the years in what's going on in the community, and what we think of being as positive.
Yes,
all right, well, take care.
I also want to chime in thanking Radio Cayman for promoting the positive narrative for young people and for opening the doors for youth empowerment. Because when the call came for us to establish Youth Flex back in 2001, it was like right after 9/11 that we started Youth Flex. It was embraced and encouraged. Mr. Banks was the first one to say that we could do the first show pre-recorded, and then we could see how quick you can make it to live. And that was only like 2 or 3 shows before we went live.
Oh, okay.
And it was live ever since, and a lot of the young people that were high school age hosting the show.
Yeah, and we have to. I just want to drop in here. We have to remember the role that Tanya Mitchell played in
Teen Talk. That was the precursor.
Yeah. Well, accent on news was the precursor to all of it. Anyway, all right.
Take care.
Have a good day.
Thank you very much, sir.
Do any of the former nominees or awardees, I should say, come to mind that have become not only the outstanding youth, but have now become outstanding adults in the community that you have at the top of your mind?
Yeah, almost all of them have went on to do great stuff, to continue to do great stuff. One of the very first round was Latoya Francis. And she was recognized for academics, but also community service, because she was giving back to her youth group in Northside. And she still do so. Now she's in charge of the youth group, not just as a youth leader, but now she runs the Chapel Church in Northside, Frankstown, their youth group. So she's doing a lot of service for the Lord, and she continues to do great stuff. She continues to serve on the Education Council in Cayman Islands. So you can see that they continue to give of themselves and to do it at various levels. Not just one person that comes to mind. There's a lot others, like James Gary, who's doing great things on the music scene around the world for Cayman artists. They're still. I think we should do a show called We're There Now.
Yeah.
Just so we can kind of catch up and keep up with all of them, because they still continue to do great stuff.
Well, there's still a youth show on Radio Cayman, right? I mean,
not anymore.
Not anymore?
No.
Okay.
But we might bring it back since everything looks so nice now. I'll see what the ministry would wish for us to do. But we're having we've now have a new program called Youth Media Mashup, where young people learn about all different facets of media, including social media and all the different kind of media houses and media platforms. Not just radio, but with Youth Flex, we were focusing primarily on radio and radio only. until radio came on, started streaming live. Then it was radio and television. But now they get a taste for everything. They get newspaper, magazines, internet-based publications. They learned video, photography, all of that in the youth media mashup, and that's headed by Miss Imani Abdul-Jabbar, who I have the fortunate position of supervising. She's doing a great job at it. But if people wants to see young people in action, I think radio is probably the most cost-effective way, and see and hear their passions. So I'll see what the discussions take us, if we could bring back Youth Flex or not. But
so what would you all say to our listeners about the importance of them getting involved as far as, that first step of making the nominations? Why should they, make that effort?
Because young people deserve to be recognized. I think every human being should have the pleasure of feeling valued by those around them, being a major contributor to their society, and whatever contributions they make be recognized. And so should our young people, especially when they do such wonderful stuff. I mean, you have people that doing straight A's. We have people that setting world records in swimming. We have people that, all the young people under the age of 25. You know what I'm saying? So why not recognize them? We have students that become the top scorer in an exam in the world. Why can't we recognize that? You know what I'm saying? And that positive narrative ought to be had, rather than, this one has a fight. That takes up the whole news for a week. But what about when one of our Caymanian students is the number one top scorer in the world in an exam? Why not recognize that?
Any word from the ministry? We got about 45 seconds.
In regards to the ministry, like what Mr. James said, it's really good to change the perception or the paradigm in regards to focusing on negativity. Let's focus on positivity. Let's encourage, let's empower those individuals that are doing really well, and let's recognize them because they deserve it. They're individuals, what I said, getting A's that are achieving much more than just a good grade, but they're setting themselves up for future roles. So we need to make sure that, we provide that environment for them to actually be successful, thrive for success. And like we said, we're small, but we could make a big impact. From the ministry's standpoint, I want to say thank you very much to yourself, Radio Cayman. Thank you for having us. So not just the ministry, but the minister as well for youth sports culture. On behalf of Youth Services Unit, our partnerships, we want to thank you for having us here. And this is just one of the many initiatives that the ministry is taking on. And, sorry.
And we would like to ask for members of the public to, of course, visit the website, www.youthservices.ky/proud of them, to nominate, or follow us on social media at Cayman Youth. And please submit your nominations.
The deadline?
Today. Do it today.
21st of March at 11:59 p.m. And if they have any questions, they can call the Youth Services Unit at 943-1127 or email us at info.ysu@gov.ky.
Well, thank you all for coming on. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having
us. Time to check in with the newsroom. Let's see what's making headlines.
If they are talking about us,
living in your head rent-free all this time,
we must be relevant. Radio Cayman since 1976. From Radio Cayman's newsroom, this is Headlines. Local, regional, international news.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market and Health Services Authority.
With your latest news, I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Well, for students waiting on results, the time is nearly here. The Caribbean Examinations Council is preparing to release the results of the January 2026 CSEC examinations across the region. An official agenda says Registrar and Chief Executive Officer Dr. Wayne Wesley will present the outcomes along with candidates' experiences and lessons learned from delivering a fully electronic and hybrid exam session. CXC says this marks a significant milestone in its e-transition initiative, aimed at making the examinations more agile and flexible in responding to stakeholders' needs. In international news, the International Energy Agency's 32 member countries have agreed their largest ever release of oil reserves to calm markets. The agency, which includes the United States and the United Kingdom, will release 400 million barrels of oil, around 4 days' worth of supply. The plan is to offset the disruption from attacks on merchant ships and the blockaded Strait of Hormuz, described as the worst hit to energy supplies since the oil shocks of the 1970s. In other news, Iran is warning the world to get ready for oil at $200 a barrel as its forces fire on merchant ships in the Gulf. Iranian Revolutionary Guards say they hit 2 ships, including a Thai-flagged bulk carrier set ablaze, while projectiles also damaged 2 other vessels. In response, the U.S. military says it has destroyed 16 Iranian mine-laying ships near the Strait of Hormuz and is urging civilians to avoid ports used by Iranian naval forces. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
Radio Cayman. More news available at www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
At HSA, we strive to provide the highest standard of care with compassion, integrity, and dedication. And so we say thank you, Cayman, for continuing to make us the most awarded organization on island by voting us the best of Cayman Islands in 9 medical categories. Your support reminds us why we do what we do, to serve the Cayman community with kindness and excellence. To find out more about our award-winning services, visit hsa.ky. At HSA, we are committed to caring for you.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
In the spring and summer of 1978, U.S.-based regional air carrier Red Carpet Airlines was operating non-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and the St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport in Florida, as well as inter-island flights non-stop between Cayman Brac and Grand Cayman, 5 days a week, with both services being flown with twin-engine Convair 440 prop aircraft. By the summer of 1980, Red Carpet was operating direct one-stop service twice a week between Cayman Brac and Tampa International Airport, via a stop at Grand Cayman. By the spring of 1982, Red Carpet's successor AeroSun International was continuing to operate Convair 440 service between Cayman Brac and Tampa and Grand Cayman.
Radio Cayman is pleased to feature this special Sister Islands historical vignette brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration and Lands. Explore your history, explore your land, explore your Sister Islands.
Hey, this is Matthew Leslie, and I want to wish Radio Cayman the happiest of anniversaries. 50 years, what a milestone. Oh, so much memories of Radio Cayman, but one of my favorite was growing up with my great-grandmother in her house on the weekends and listening to the country countdown. That was one of those memories that always stays with me as a child, and it was made possible by Radio Cayman, keeping it on the airwaves. Thank you so much, and happy anniversary.
The Ring of Fire.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What
Just
is
keep the
on
mic.
your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and let's take a quick look at the weather forecast, and it's pretty straightforward, partly cloudy. That's it for the rest of the afternoon, straight into tonight. Winds are expected to be out of the east at 10 to 15 knots, and seas are running 2 to 4 feet, and that is our forecast for the rest of the afternoon. Well, in the studio right now, let me get my notes here. In this segment, we're going to hear about the Walk, Run, Scoot, and Push event for the T21 NPO, and that is all to raise awareness for Down syndrome and also to raise some funds. Here to tell us about that are Nancy Bodden and Kesrene Estrella Dabrio. And also in the studio is Kesrene's son, Joshua Estrella. Josiah Estrella. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having
Thank you.
us.
So you were telling me that you are actually the founder of the T21 NPO.
I am one of the co-founders.
Co-founders.
Last week you met with the other co-founder, Desiree Jacob. So both myself and her, we co-founded T21 NPO. We launched in March 2024.
So what spurred you to do that, to get together with her and form that NPO?
We saw the need for it in the community because both of us are parents to children with Down syndrome, and we felt like they needed a voice. There were other NPOs that were formed over the years, and none of them were in specific to persons with Down syndrome. And we know the challenges as parents directly that we face raising our children. And there was not enough knowledge in the community, there was not enough awareness in the community. Recent years, we do March 21, which is Rock Your Socks Day, but a lot of individuals do it. They love to wear the, fancy socks and funny socks, but a lot of them don't have even the knowledge of why and why we're doing this. So we wanted to open or form an NPO to give the community, our community, more a voice and give the community of the Cayman Islands knowledge and wisdom on persons living with Down syndrome here in the Cayman Islands.
Now, we have another parent that's raised a Down syndrome child. Are there quite a few? I mean, for the community of our size, are there a number of parents that are in this situation?
Yes, there is. Yes, there is. Yes. I could take you back to the 70s. I grew up with a person living with Down syndrome. And I was a young girl at the time, and primary school age, and I would remember asking my mom, why can't he go to school? And he was one of my brother's best friends, and you couldn't get a better friend than him, but yet he was not allowed to attend school, not allowed to, a lot of people made fun of him, so it was hard growing up with that condition. And we were not educated back then. Today our children are more educated because they have Lighthouse to attend and so forth and other schools. But
so the parents weren't even clear. They weren't even clear at that time.
No.
As to what the problem was.
No, and they used to use the R word back then.
Yeah.
And it's just, this is way overdue. This is way overdue because people, still, their person here living with Down syndrome, like they don't even have a clue that they exist. And they do. And they really do. And it's so sad that we are still fighting for them to have a voice. in the community.
I mean, we've come a long way, I guess, since the 70s, because I can remember back then, people didn't want to bring those children into public.
No.
They were kind of hidden away, right? Or,
I mean, one of the eldest living on the island right now. I don't know if I'm allowed to say who he is, but, you know, he's in his 50s and doing quite well. And he's the grandson of a well-known person on this island, you know, so.
Nancy Bodden, you have raised a child with Down syndrome who's now an adult. Give us a little insight into what it is like to be a parent of a Down syndrome child.
Can I just read what I've written and then you can ask me more questions?
Sure.
Because I tend to ramble. And good afternoon, listeners, and thank you, Jello, for having us. And if you would bear with me, we're glad to be here to discuss our event coming up on the 21st of March. The nonprofit organization T21, as we have stated, is for trisomy 21 because of the extra 21st chromosome seen in people with Down syndrome. It's also called trisomy 21. And as I was thinking about what I'd like to share, I decided to start with the idea that people with Down syndrome are so much more like you and I, and it hurts my heart when I hear them referred to as Down syndrome people or that Downs kid. It's just one extra chromosome, right? And so the accepted phrase, I think, would be Kansa has Down syndrome or the young man with Down syndrome. Next, I'd like to address inclusions of persons across the whole spectrum of society and on happiness. We need certain things in place to obtain happiness. We need someone to love, something to look forward to, meaningful work, and health and fitness. I'd like to repeat that. Someone to love, something to look forward to, meaningful work, health and fitness, and all of those require inclusion. Our population benefits from being with people that they can emulate. Unless parents can afford private schools and much effort to get into a private school and a person to be their child's aide, they go to the Lighthouse School and then they go to Sunrise. And you just really need a lot of staff who are happy to interact with them as buddies and friends, as well as teachers and therapists. Special Olympics does this very well. They train volunteers and coaches on interaction with people with special needs. But the main thing that they need is love. And for people looking to help our children, we want you to have high expectations. Even though it may seem like our population doesn't understand what's going on, that's mostly mistaken. I can tell you from experience they do. I'd say to anyone looking to interact with, like Kansa and I, if you see us on the street, just give her more time to respond to a question, follow up with more questions with enthusiasm and encouraging remarks, and in a work or a fun environment where you go to camps or you're going to be in gymnastics or you're going to go and stock a shelf at a store or something, the easiest way for me to explain to you what I would expect or want you to do with my child is just maybe treat them like a 6 or 7-year-old. Like the 6 and the 7-year-old can understand exactly what you're saying, and but our kids need extra. They need extra patience and they need extra energy. And I think that that's the best way to get our kids to perform what you are asking them to perform, what we are sending them to gymnastics and to dance and to other classes to get, not only to be with all the other kids and watching. We want them to be there to take part. I'm reading this. So, yeah.
How do people react to children with Down syndromes these days? I mean, you're out in the public with them, shopping, whatever.
A lot better than they did 30 years ago when Kansa was born. 30 years ago when Kansa was born, I had to stare at a few people back, you know. And I've had Kansa in the community for 30 years. Kansa's a rock star. She's a star of Special Olympics. Yeah. She's had a
great swimmer,
brilliant
right?
life. And she started out, and the reason she's able to learn is because of your wife, Annette Glidden. Taught her how to speak, how to read, and how to write. She spells better than me. She writes and types faster than me. and she writes stories, and she does all these things, and people look at her and think, like I said before, don't assume they're not going to understand, because they are going to understand. And so I'll do things like, and it's against my nature, because I don't like her showing off, but she likes to show off. So the other day she sang for the whole group of people at the 60th anniversary of the yacht club at the Grand Old House, a cappella. The Commodore couldn't get him to be quiet, but she did. And she sang the most lovely song, and that to me was giving the opportunity for people to see that they understood every word, and it was quite moving. People, and she does this often. I just get to watch her change people's minds. And so I don't think there's more than 40, 50 people with Down syndrome on this island. So you're not going to run into them a lot. But like I say, it's just an extra chromosome. People with Down syndrome want the exact same things everybody else wants.
Josiah, hi, how are you today? Just put the mic a little closer to it. How are you today, Josiah?
I Kesrene Estrella's son.
I'm Kesrene Estrella's son.
Ah, yes.
Say good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
How are you feeling today?
I feel fine.
Yeah. What school do you go to?
Sunrise Adult.
Sunrise?
Yes.
Sunrise Adult Shelter.
Well, what kind of things do you like to do? What's your favorite things to have fun with?
We go to art.
They do art.
Art.
Arts and crafts. And what else? You like music?
Music.
And the drums?
Drums.
And the drums?
Yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like the drums myself, yeah.
And he loves animals. He knows hundreds of animals.
So does he have artistic talent? I mean, does he show some talent for that?
He can play drums. He does have a drum set at home, which I have to tolerate a lot. But yeah, he can listen to a song and he can start to get the beat going.
He can get the timing on the song.
And that's a talent that runs in my family. My brother plays 3 instruments and was never taught. And he can play keyboard, guitar, and drums, and was never taught like how to do it. It's the ear, and he's picked that up. He has the ear for it.
And what about fine art, the drawing or the arts and crafts?
At Sunrise?
Yeah, well, as far as his talent is concerned.
No, he don't really do art
okay.
in that way.
All right.
But yeah, the music, he is naturally talented with music.
Well, let's hear about the event that is going to be happening. When does it take place?
It takes place on March 21st, which is World Down Syndrome Day, at Saturday at Camana Bay. It starts at Next Chapter and ends at Next Chapter. It's a 1K, 3K, and a 5K. So it all depends on what you feel like doing. If you feel like just doing 1, you'll get a medal. If you feel like doing 3, you'll get a medal. If you feel like doing the whole 5, definitely, for sure. So as you are able to compete on what your ability feels. And when we say walk, run, scoot, push, that is to be inclusive of our community as well. Because you have people in wheelchairs that are going to be pushed, or people in strollers that are going to be pushed. And then you have the little kids who will be taking their little scooter out, and they'll be using their scooter. And of course, the individual who wants to run, and the individuals who want to walk. So that's why we've named it Walk, Run, Scoot, Push. So it includes everyone from 0 to 99. Come out, be a part of it. You can either be pushed in a stroller as a baby, because we have a new baby in the community, or you can be pushed in a wheelchair if you're having difficulties walking.
And how do people go about participating in this?
Our website is www.t21npo.com. And as you open that website page, boom, there's the registration via Eventpro. And that'll just lead you to everything you need to do to register, to pay. Everything is done for you. You print your ticket and you're good to go. And you show up there 5:30 a.m. to
Gotta be an early riser.
to get going. Yes. And also our T-shirts should be available the week off leading up to the event.
And so what's the registration fee?
$25 for adults and $20 if you're under the age of 18.
So how do you use those funds? Do you help people in your community? Or?
Our NPO is not just primarily it's for persons with Down syndrome, but it's not just exclusive to persons with Down syndrome. It is inclusive of all persons with different abilities and additional needs. So our funding is divided in 3 sections. The first one definitely is medical needs. The second tier is therapeutic needs. And the third tier is social needs, social activities. So we recently had a baby who had to be flown up to the States to get open heart surgery. So of course we're an aid to that parent if they need, because we want to bridge the gap between what health insurance pay and what the parent have to pay. And he had 2 open heart surgeries before he was the age of 1. And you're talking about $500,000.
Yeah, that's hits you hard.
I know firsthand about medical needs. You have all kind of medical needs that they have, not as open heart surgeries. You have the need of the hearing, you have the need of their vision, you have the need of. He's recently had to undergo some dental work because of overcrowding of teeth that got impacted. So there's a lot of needs we can fill when it comes to the medical needs.
So medical problems accompany Down syndrome.
Oh yes. Half of our population, our Down syndrome population, are born with a heart condition. Because the heart is the first thing to develop and the last thing to be completed, develop in the womb. So even though you've gone to about 40 weeks of the baby forming, that heart doesn't completely close in 50% of our children. So he was born with open, his heart wasn't completely formed. So he had to be flown out to do his surgeries in Miami.
So it's almost like, you said 50%. So many people, as soon as the child is born, you're faced with these challenges and expenses.
Yes, he was born on the 15th of February, and he did his first open heart surgery on the 21st of March. And his second one on the 27th of January, 2009. So, yeah, they cannot survive if they don't have that intervention. That's why, like I said, we formed this NPO because we know as parents firsthand the struggles we face. And it's an accelerated struggle. It's not like a passive struggle where you can just say, oh, I'll deal with it tomorrow. Or I'll deal with it. You gotta know right away what you're going to do and how you're going to do it and how you're going to act towards it. Because your child's life depends on your swift actions. So our NPO
and you don't have time to look for funds from...
Exactly. So our funding is an email away, and say, yes, we're here, we can help. That's why we want people to come out, please support us. People say, well, what about other NPOs who help persons with different abilities and additional needs? Why should we support you as opposed to, why don't you all just go to them? There is so many NPOs formed on this island, and I'm so happy about that, right? That's great. That's wonderful. I mean, you have two that support autism. None support just Down syndrome. And that's why we want to help. We want to assist. We want people to know we are here. And we're not going away. We're not just formed for a certain amount of years and then we get tired. We are here and we're here to help. As I said, I just held a newborn. Not newborn, but she's like 5 to 6 months old. And, he's 18. He's 18, and we cannot. Our voice has to be heard. If not now, when? When I asked God, do I really have the time for this? And He said, if not you, who? And if not now, when? Because like I said, this gentleman that I knew, that was back in the 70s, and this is 2026. He's 18. Both my son and Nancy's daughter were in a film that was done in 2016. That's 10 years ago, where Miss Mary Trumbach, the late, great Mary Trumbach, was in that film with our children. Hers was a teenager. I think Kansas was like the age of Josiah back then, and he was only 5. And we were advocating for this law to be passed for persons with disabilities. It's still not done.
Still not done.
No.
It's on the books.
And we're waiting. and our children are growing up.
So,
And it's-
Nancy, you say it's on the books? What?
Well, they had all the whole, 20, 25 people.
I'm a little closer to the
20, 25 people from all walks of life sat and wrote up a scheme, a big 30-page book of what we want done for the special needs community, ranging from sidewalks for wheelchairs to I don't know what all. I wasn't part of that.
Yeah.
I know it happened, and that, like she said, was like sort of one of the things that government was announcing on the night of our movie. And so, but we really don't hear.
So no legislation has.
Well, I'm sure that's been why the Sunrise has gotten a new building. That's why things have happened, I'm sure. But it's just not moving very fast.
Correct. Yeah, we were at Sunrise at a meeting back in March. Not March, sorry, in February. And it's on the books. It's like being formed with a little tweaks, more tweaks to be added. Like 1 and 2 is there, but 3, 4, 5, and 6 need to be, pushed in. And they did get our feedback, and they did ask a lot of questions, and we were grateful. We were so grateful. And I even let the gentleman know that. I'm like, thank God, finally. But why our most vulnerable citizens have to wait this long? Why their voice is not being screamed at the top of their lungs to say these individuals don't have a voice for themselves? You heard my son speak just now. Yeah. I had to speak a lot for him. Why? It's not rocket science. They were born with a condition. They didn't ask for this. They were born with this. So therefore, we as a government, we as a community, we as parents, we as individuals need to change our perspectives and help and assist them, because their life isn't a piece of cake. And that's my take.
So let's make sure everybody knows how they can participate again.
Yes. So the Walk, Run, Scoot, Push is our annual event. It doesn't take place every single week. It takes place once a year. All ages are welcome to come and participate. Go to our website, t21npo.com. As you open the website page, we have the registration there, and you can click on it, and it'll take you through all the steps to register. Come to our event, support us. We need volunteers. March 21, Cayman Bay, 5:30 a.m. 6 o'clock is when the race starts. And it's a race. It's not you will win a medal depending on what you find when you go through the finish line. But it is a race. You are there to compete. Or you can just walk and enjoy the morning breeze. But if you want a medal, you push to cross that finish line first.
And if some generous person wants to make a donation to T21, they just go to the website
Go
again?
to the website, and it has various tabs there, and one of the tabs is how to donate. And it will lead you through exactly what you need to do.
And is that where people that would rock their socks in different companies that have been doing that over the
Same.
years because of things we've done in the past, that would also go right to that, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Well, thank you all for coming in, and I hope you get a good turnout.
Thank you.
Very worthy cause.
Thank you for having us. And corporations, remember to rock your socks on March 20th to Friday, and definitely bring out Rock Your Socks on Saturday for the run.
And any school that's doing it, talk about why.
Oh.
Yes.
It's 1:30, so we're going to take a break. We'll be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Whether you're walking, running, cycling, playing outdoors, doing household chores, or basically any job requiring physical labor is movement. Staying active is known to benefit both physical and mental health and is a key contributor to longevity of life. On Sunday, March 29th, the Cayman Islands government will be launching Move It Cayman, the National Movement Challenge. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/Move It Cayman.
If you or your loved one is facing cancer, only Sylvester will stand firmly by your side at every step, from diagnosis through survivorship, providing you and your family peace of mind and assisting with everything you need before, during, and after your stay with us. Sylvester Comprehensive Cancer Center is South Florida's only NCI-designated cancer center and specializes in treating the most complex cancer cases. Your first-class cancer care is just a flight away. Learn more at sylvester.org.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cineco and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cineco motor insurance. Learn more and register at cineco.ky. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
K-Fest 2026 is in full swing, celebrating poetry, film, dance, concerts, visual arts, and so much more. Follow Cayman Culture Socials to see it all. It all culminates on Saturday, March 21st with Red Sky at Night, happening at the Harkwell Theatre grounds, featuring local art, crafts, live music, dance, storytelling, interactive activities, and more. It's an event for the whole family. Pre-sale tickets are just $10 adults and $5 for children. Visit ticketsplus.ky to secure yours today. Red Sky at Night, the grand finale at K-Fest 2026.
Sponsored by Ministry of Culture, Camana Bay, Coca-Cola, Webster's Tours, What's On, and Radio Cayman.
Happy 50th anniversary, Radio Cayman. I remember as a kid listening to the children's program, the lady would ask, "Do you know what the sound is?" And as a kid, I would say out loud, "It's a trumpet." And in response, on Radio Cayman, the lady would say, "Of course, it's a trumpet." And I was so amazed that the radio could hear me. And this is one of the most favorite childhood memory that I have. Thank you for keeping us entertained, and we love you.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. There are a lot of boat operators in the Cayman Islands, private and commercial boats. But how many operators have knowledge of how to safely operate their boat? Beginning tomorrow, boat operators will have the opportunity to improve their maritime safety knowledge by attending specialized maritime safety course. In the studio to tell us about that are Ned Miller, Surveyor Category 2 in Domestic Craft with the Maritime Authority, and also Maritime Safety Specialist Derek Thorington, also of the Maritime Authority, based in the UK. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Welcome to our studio.
Thanks for having us, Charles.
I noticed that in the press release now it says anyone 17 and over. So is this just for commercial operators, or can anyone take advantage of this?
Ideally, we would like to see it picked up by the commercial side, but it is open to anyone that would like to take part. 17 and up. In Cayman, there is a very wide range of small craft operators. A lot of guys are getting out there younger and younger, and at the very least, just like to make them aware of some of the challenges they're going to see while they're out on the water and how to do it safely.
Yeah, like you said, a lot of guys going into the business of north-south tours and things like that, right?
Absolutely.
So at present, do they have to have any kind of qualification to?
No, unfortunately not. As of right now, there are very, very little operational level regulations for Cayman Islands craft operating here. Most people can will start up one of those businesses, come down, buy a boat, and start running tours. And that is kind of one of the things we want to try to focus on with this course, is to instill a level of knowledge and awareness of small craft safety for these guys, yeah.
Now, Dirk, let me ask you, you say you're based in the UK, so tell us how that operates for you.
Yeah, so I've worked for the Maritime Authority, the Cayman Islands, for about 10 years now, and there's a lot of Cayman Island registered vessels all around the world, not least in Europe, and I've always lived in the UK, and I'm one of the outport surveyors who look after that side of the market.
These days, we like to spot the Cayman Islands ensign in movies and stuff like that, right? On those big yachts.
Yeah.
So, what is going to be the thrust of this course?
So, it's all about education. It's not for us to say, you have to do this or you're doing it wrong. We cover a broad range of subjects. And it's a case of us demonstrating or trying to demonstrate what good looks like. So for experienced boat owners, that then is aimed at making sure their knowledge is up to date, because all of us, myself included, need to concentrate on keeping our skills up to date. And at the same time, for those less experienced individuals on the course, it's about providing them with some knowledge from which to build going forward.
So it's not just one class. I mean, people will have a choice of different days, is it?
So it's it's running over 4 days. So it's 4 separate courses. A full day starts at 9, finishes at 4:30. It's the same course running every day. So you sign on for a course, that's a day's activity, and we'll be covering a broad range of subjects.
The idea being that if you can't get it, if this fills up on the Thursday, the Friday class is available for you then, and Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
So
it's the same course. Yeah. So it's a single day course that we are holding over those days. Each day, someone can come and get the entire course in that one day.
So it starts tomorrow, I think Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So are people already taking advantage of this? Do you have any?
Absolutely. We have seen a wonderful turnout from the community. And we are especially seeing, what we're really happy to see is we're seeing that turnout from those operator level guys, not just the company owners, but the guys that are out there themselves doing it. The people that are out running the boat on the sandbar, that works for the big company, that he's the one, or he or she is the one that is putting their body at risk, putting their well-being at risk to do the job. And we're seeing more and more of them are kind of keying into, hey, I'm the one on the line here. What can I do to make myself safer and to make sure I get to go home at night?
This is a multi-agency effort, right?
Yeah, I would say so. We've been gathering and working with Coast Guard, Port Authority, all the other maritime entities on island, and we're all kind of on the same page with this. We kind of see that it's an area that's been kind of left unregulated for so long that we need to start stepping in to help people so that we don't ever have that big inciting incident. Let's head that off from now. Let's not wait until we have a horrible incident to start getting this information out there. Let's get it from now and try to head that off.
And education is a great way to start on that, which is where we're coming from with this course.
Yeah.
Do you think down the line we're going to see some kind of regulation, legislation requiring, if you say I'm a boat captain, that you have some right to call yourself a boat captain?
I mean, ideally, that's what we'd like to say in the future, but I can't. Unfortunately, I can't really speak to what legislation may or may not be coming down the line.
But is there ideally advocacy for that?
I guess there is a general sense. Yeah, there is a general feeling within the community now and within the higher spaces that, the environment is now receptive enough that we can probably, hopefully in the future, see some type of, at the very least, standardization to the level of experience guys and people are having when they're operating. And hopefully, someday soon we will see a requirement that, you do have to have some type of even basic boating license.
Mm-hmm. Maybe some first aid, CPR?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that is part of it. That is part of the things that we'll cover is, are guys trained in first aid? Are they aware of the ins and outs of the vessel? down to simple stuff like, hey, do you know do you know radio communications? You know, things that they might not think about normally.
Well, walk us through some of the things here that I see listed, and just elaborate on some of these things here. Like the first thing on the list is the responsibilities of a boat skipper.
Absolutely. Go ahead. No.
Sure, yeah. So the responsibilities of boat skippers are various, of course. From a private vessel perspective, you've got responsibilities for your family and friends who you are taking out. From a commercial basis, of course, there's a responsibility to look after your clients who are paying you money to take on the boat. And, of course, there's responsibilities to comply with existing Cayman Island legislation. And we'll be covering that.
Yeah. And there's responsibility to your passengers, to yourself, to your company. There's a financial incentive to make sure that you're not putting yourself at undue risk or undertaking practices that put the vessel at risk.
It's one of the things which we try to get across, or I've tried to get across in a lot of the training that I deliver across British overseas territories, is when you're operating safely, that's really good for your business. So we want people to be safe, but actually from a commercial perspective, if you are safe, that's great for the bottom line as well.
Yeah, because I guess somewhere along the line you're going to have some incident or other if you operate long enough, right?
Yeah. And that is the worry. That has kind of been the driving force behind that. Is we tend to be somewhat reactive within the community here. We all kind of know it is. It tends to be a big thing that happens, and then change comes from that. While that system has done us as well as it can thus far, let's try to get ahead of that this time. You know, let's not wait until we have somebody gets hurt or somebody gets killed. Let's get the education out there now. Let's get the community moving towards the right direction, so that if and when things do change in the future, we don't see this necessarily big pushback from guys that are suddenly being told they've got all these new things they have to do. You know, let's get people familiar with the stuff from now, so that it's a gradual change to a better industry all around.
But right now, somebody taking people out to Rum Point or Stingray City, do they have to have like the correct number of life jackets, fire extinguishers, that kind of thing on the boat?
There are, yeah. So there's already pre-standing requirements under Port Authority for safety equipment on board. The point of this will be to make sure that people are aware of those now going forward, and also what might be better practice, period. You know, just because you only have to have a certain percentage on board, maybe you should take a bit more, or do you know necessarily what the correct piece of equipment for that situation is? You know, you're carrying gear that you might not really know what the correct way to use it is.
One of the aspects of the training looks at emergency preparedness. So carrying on from what Ned's just said, you know, we'll look at various scenarios from man overboard, abandoned ship, fighting fires, and a few other scenarios. And of course, it's not for us to say what plans you have to have in place to deal with each, but it's talking through some of the issues, because everyone needs to have a scenario and a system and a plan that works for them, their crew, and their boat. And we'll talk through a few examples so that we can get people thinking, such that if the worst thing happens, they're well prepared to deal with it.
Yeah. For this one, as we said, we've been reactive for so long. Let's be proactive on this one. Let's get people thinking about this stuff from now. What are they going to do? How do you avoid a collision in the first place? What do you do if there is one? What do you do if one of your passengers gets injured, gets cut by the propeller or something? You know, what do you do if you smell smoke, if the guys find a fire down the engine compartment? And just getting guys prepared now, get them better educated in the risks and the ways they can avoid them.
All right, we have to take a little break here, but stay with us. We'll be right back.
Yep.
Accidents and illnesses can strike without warning. Ouch! When it comes to urgent care, every second counts. At Doctors Hospital, we have a dedicated team of experienced doctors and nursing staff available to you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Don't waste time in an overcrowded emergency room when you need urgent care. Whether it's a broken bone, a severe infection, or a sudden illness, trust in Doctors Hospital's unwavering dedication to providing the best immediate care. For complete urgent care when you need it the most, choose Doctors Hospital, located in Georgetown, 16 Middle Road.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
System 1 loaded.
For the record, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 9:30, we interview the various government ministers, opposition, and Cayman Island legislators. For the Record is brought to you by West Bay Pharmacy at Centennial Towers. Visit us today for fast, efficient, and professional service. Everything you need and the hours you need it at West Bay Pharmacy.
Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands, the ultimate staycation experience. Your culture, your freedom, the land that time forgot isn't gone. It's your sister islands.
Discover all that our sister islands have to offer. K-Fest 2026 is in full swing, celebrating poetry, film, dance, concerts, visual arts, and so much more. Follow Cayman Culture Socials to see it all. It all culminates on Saturday, March 21st with Red Sky at Night, happening at the Harkwell Theatre grounds, featuring local art, crafts, live music, dance, storytelling, interactive activities, and more. It's an event for the whole family. Pre-sale tickets are just $10 adults and $5 for children. Visit ticketsplus.ky to secure yours today. Red Sky at Night, the grand finale at K-Fest 2026.
Sponsored by Ministry of Culture, Camana Bay, Coca-Cola, Webster's Tours, What's On, and Radio Cayman.
Happy 50th anniversary Radio Cayman. What an enormous legacy that has been made by Radio Cayman. God bless all of the employees, past and present, that have made Radio Cayman special. So as we celebrate this 50th anniversary, as we celebrate improvements and renovations to Radio Cayman, let's be thankful for the first 50 years, and Lord willing, ingenuity willing, collaboration willing, another 50 for Radio Cayman. Happy anniversary.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. We have a caller on the line, so let's go to the phones. Good afternoon. You're on the air with Talk Today.
Hi. Hey, good afternoon. How you doing?
All right, and you?
All right, it's a pretty interesting topic. When it comes to the Bodden, I think basically the most Bodden skills, most of these captains out there, or 90% of the guys out there, they actually have via the Port Authority, you need to know CPR anyway. So most of these guys know CPR, basic knowledge of CPR. What I noticed that some of these boats don't have is defibs, and you guys would know what that is. A lot of the guys don't have. If you're going to have a certain amount of passengers, you should have a defib just in case to have on board, even though I know it's expensive to have. My question is how legislation is going to do in case I get a captain's license or someone gets, or you're going to do the captain license based on tonnage, or like in the U.S. they have a six-pack captain license where you could just stick out your friends and family, or you could do your tonnage, which you get a commercial license where you could be able to do commercially and take passengers out, and that would you could be able to get insurance on that, because that's one of the aspects I'm looking into. And then if for some reason an incident happened, just like a car license, would they be able to on the investigation not be able to handle a boat, or will they be able to lose a captain's license for X amount of time where they cannot operate a commercial vehicle or a commercial, similar like a car?
Mm-hmm. Well, we haven't really said that there's legislation coming. There's no legislation coming. I mean, we're talking about a course that is being offered. So I don't
Yeah,
know.
this is
Yeah, but
about
even though
education, as opposed to legislation discourse.
Yeah, I guess to kind of answer the question best as I can, ideally in the future what we'd like to see is at the very least some type of boat master's licensing requirements for commercial operation. Like I said, because we don't necessarily know what's coming down the pipe for legislation, I can't really speak to if that's going to be a requirement or not. But ideally, that would be at the very least what we'd like to see.
Because one of the things I don't understand, I don't mean to cut you, is that Cayman Islands happen to be the biggest boat registry in the world. Most boats are registered in the Cayman Islands. If you watch a lot of the below decks and all of these series, boats are registered in the Cayman Islands. You can't go anywhere in Europe and you don't see a boat registered in Cayman Islands or Bahamas or whatever. But the thing is that I don't understand how people on the island could have a boat running commercially, all right, and having a boat insured without having a license. I can't have a car without a license. I can't operate a vehicle without a license. And that's where I'm having an issue with. And we happen to be one of the biggest boat registrars in the world, but yet we're not required to have a license on the island.
Well, you do raise a good point there in that, that is a massive black spot in our legislation. Hopefully in the future we'll see that change. But yeah, as of right now, it's just an unfortunate black spot.
Okay, and I will leave you with this. If someone else gets a license in the UK, because a lot of the captains in Cayman Islands have went to the UK and they've gotten their license and they come back and operate here. If someone's coming from the UK or US or whatever, and they want to operate a boat here, would they have to be certified to operate a boat in the Cayman Islands, or they could just come here and just open up shop and operate in Cayman? And I'll leave you with that.
All right. Thanks for the call.
Yeah. To answer that last one as best as I can, as we said before, because there's so little legislation when it comes to commercial operations here in the Cayman Islands, there's really no standard for transferring tickets in such a way. It's if you come here and you buy the vessel and you get the T&B, that's pretty much it. T&B and insurance, yep.
Can you bring in a boat of any size in Cayman and not have to register it?
That varies. That'd be more port and customs to confirm that. Registering vessels here at Cayman Islands like this, once it's here and it's owned locally, that's a purely by voluntary thing, unless it's undertaking.
The Maritime Authority isn't concerned about that.
It's not that we're not concerned; it's that we don't have the power to necessarily force that. So
it's more for people from overseas who want to register their ship.
International operations require a flag. Yeah, if you're going to operate internationally, then you have to come under a flag.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But boat is here operating locally in our waters. That's not necessarily required.
Okay. Well, let's run through some of the other subjects that are going to be covered in this course. We talked about the responsibilities. The next one on the list: pre-departure preparations and passenger planning. What will that involve?
Yeah, it's really important that before you take any vessel to sea, private or commercial, that the vessel's fit for what you're going to use it for. And part of a master's responsibility is to make sure it's up to standard, whether that's equipped with the right amount of equipment, even little things that sound obvious, whether there's enough fuel on board, whether the bilges are empty, whether there's anything on board, say in the bilges, oil that could pollute the environment if you have to pump it out. So it's really starting from the basics. Before we take the vessel to sea, what do we need to do? What do we need to test? The engines, the steering, make sure everything's working as it should. Navigation equipment, for instance.
And on that subject as well, we said it's passage planning is the second one. That's another fantastic point where do you have a backup location that you can go to if things get bad? If you're taking guys out on, let's say you're taking guys out on a charter fishing trip, going out to 12 Mile Bank and back. If on your way back in, the weather has made it down and you can't safely make main channel, do you have a second location that you can go to safely? And that's all part of passage planning. It's planning for what you're going to do and also what to do if things don't work out.
And elementary navigation and communication techniques.
Yeah, but I'll deal with the second one first, if I may. Communication obviously is really important, not least in times of emergency. So it's taking participants through equipment. It's not a full radio course because we haven't got the time to do that. But some general pointers as to what vessels, masters and crews should do in terms of equipping their vessels and using that equipment. In terms of elementary navigation, over the last 20 years or so, we've seen a revolution in vessel navigation, both commercial ships and small vessels. And associated with that, what I've seen as a practicing surveyor for the last 19 years is that in many instances, both with big ships and small boats, we've seen a bit of skill fade.
Yep.
So in terms of elementary navigation, it's almost a sense of, to some extent, pulling the clock back and showing people, hey, if all this technology you've got on your boat, if that fails, do you have the skills to get the boat back safely to the dock, to offload your family and friends or your clients?
Yep.
This is if the GPS goes down?
Yeah, a lot of guys, as you're saying, because these units have become so handy and so pervasive throughout, on all vessels now, you get sometimes a symptom of driving by screen, where you're just setting your waypoint and driving by the line on your GPS. Well, what happens if that GPS fails? Do you know how to find your bearing? Do you know how to take a bearing? Do you know how to set your course to come back? This is a great opportunity to just kind of brush it. A lot of the guys probably will know this is an opportunity to brush up on those skills, and maybe they get a chance to show off too.
And collision avoidance and emergency preparations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, collision avoidance is fundamental for any vessel, of course, big ship, small boat, and the Cayman Island waters at some times of the year and at any day when you've got a lot of perhaps passenger ships operating here, the waters can be busy. So knowledge of collision regulations and how to conduct your vessel in accordance with them, that's really important. And it comes down to, simple things, keeping a lookout, making sure your vessel is operating at a safe speed, and then the correct way of dealing for if a collision looks as if it could occur. And if everyone, whether they're the master of a convention ship or a small boat, would comply with the collision regulations, which are international, not just in the Cayman Islands, everywhere in the world, then the waters would be a much safer place.
Yep. Well, we don't have time to go through the whole list, but you can see that quite a few things are covered here. And this is starting tomorrow and then Friday and Saturday. If you haven't already signed up, how can people sign up for this course?
If you would like to sign up, you can contact at the shipping registry at 1 second here. Forgive me. I can't remember the email address. I'm so sorry. We can. There should be available information online to sign up. If you look up the course online, you should be able to find the information there. We have gotten pretty close to our max number now at this point.
Really? For all the classes?
For most of them, yeah.
Yeah.
But still, if you think you're interested, please feel free to reach out. We have a website, CIShipping.com.
We do have a few spaces, I think, left on tomorrow and Friday, but the weekend is certainly looking quite busy. But please make an inquiry if you're interested and you haven't signed up yet, because we'd love to see the courses full to capacity.
Yeah. Gentlemen, thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Quite an interesting subject.
Thank you very much for hosting us.
Thank you, yes.
It's 2:00. Time to see what's making headlines.
Information, entertainment, inspiration.
Covering Grand Cayman, Little Cayman, Cayman Bright.
Since 1976 till now.
Radio Cayman in the Cayman Islands.
From Radio Cayman's newsroom, This is Headlines.
The Headline News is brought to you by Kirk Market.
With your latest headlines, I'm Elizabeth Charles. The Ministry of Education and Training is inviting applications for local scholarships for the 2026-2027 academic year. The program offers financial assistance to eligible Caymanians studying at registered institutions within the Cayman Islands, covering tuition and other study-related costs for undergraduate and postgraduate degrees, as well as post-secondary courses such as A-Levels, CAPE, IB, and BTEC. Applications close at 11:59 p.m. on Thursday, April 13th, and full eligibility criteria, application details, and FAQs are available at moescholarships.gov.ky or from the Scholarship Secretariat by email or phone. In international news, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points, the second highest total in an NBA game, as the Miami Heat beat the Washington Wizards 150-129. The center hit 36 of 43 free throws, both NBA records for attempts and makes, and passed Kobe Bryant's 81-point mark from 2006, leaving only Wilt Chamberlain's 100-point game ahead of him. In other news, UK mortgage rates are rising and hundreds of deals are being pulled from the market amid turmoil linked to the U.S.-Israel war with Iran. Financial data from MoneyFacts says the average rate on a 2-year fixed mortgage has climbed above 5%, with nearly 500 residential products withdrawn in 2 days, the biggest shakeup since the 2022 mini-budget. Analysts say lenders are reacting to higher oil prices and renewed inflation worries. Those are the latest headlines. I'm Elizabeth Charles.
www.radiocayman.gov.ky. Check out our social media pages: Facebook, YouTube, X, formerly Twitter, Radio Cayman Headline News.
Looking for fresh, healthy food that's full of flavor? Then you've got to visit Kirk Market. Our dishes are made with fresh, high-quality ingredients. Enjoy vibrant mixed greens or satisfying pasta salads. Or try one of our delicious grill options like blackened chicken, spicy beef steak, or grilled salmon. Looking for something light and flavorful? We've got sushi rolls and poke bowls prepared daily. And don't forget to explore a hot bar or Billy Fresh salad at the salad bar. Stop by Kirk Market today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner and taste the difference. Eat well, live well with Kirk Market.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back. Quick check on the weather, the present conditions. 85 degrees here in Georgetown. It feels like 93. Winds out of the southeast at, about 8.5 knots. And today's forecast, partly cloudy skies for the rest of the afternoon and straight through tonight, with winds expected to be 10 to 15 knots out of the east and seas running 2 to 4 feet. And that's how the weather is looking. Well, that was some interesting conversation there about boating in the Cayman Islands and safety. I was surprised that we don't have more regulation as far as boating, especially commercial boating and transporting people, because there's a lot of boats out there now. As you heard Ned Miller was saying, a lot of young guys find that that's a profitable business. You get a boat and you fit it out, and you take people on tours on the North Sound, or you take them deep sea fishing. But there's not a lot of regulation as far as if you're qualified, to do that. So probably about time that we see some kind of regulation to make sure that when you go on someone's boat, whether it's just to party or whether you're going fishing, whatever the situation is, that you can be confident that the guy that's in control of the boat knows what he's doing, right? I mean, I think most of the people out there operating a boat have some good knowledge, but always good to know that whoever you're trusting to take you out and get you back safely, that they do indeed have that knowledge of keeping you safe as possible while you're on their boat. Yesterday we had started talking about the move in Cayman, and we didn't get too far on it, but this private member's motion of actually banning people under 16 from access to social media. And it looks like it's off to a running start. It was a private member's motion brought by MP Paulina McGaw-Lumsted, and the government has embraced it, which that pretty much means they will eventually be bringing some kind of consultation, legislation. The UK is doing it. Australia has done it. I think France may have already done it. And now Cayman is taking the first steps here of controlling social media when it comes to youngsters under 16 years old. How do you feel about that? You think that's a good thing? You think it's something that's going to be hard to regulate? I guess they have the technology to do that kind of thing. We do have a caller on the line. Good afternoon. You're on the air.
Good afternoon, Mr. Charles Glidden. Mario Ebanks here. How you doing?
Mario, hi. How are you?
Very good, very good. I haven't spoken to you for a while, and I just heard you mention the cell phone private members motion that was passed in the House recently, banning smartphones or social media in particular for children 16. Yeah, yes, it's social media for children 16 years or old or younger. Yeah. I want to go on record as an advocate of this for some time now. I want to go on record to congratulating and commending the progressive member, Ms. Paulina, and the entire Parliament really for supporting that motion and passing it, and hopefully we'll see some action soon. I know that there's some schools already on the island that have actually enforced that rule, in particular banning cell phones by school children when they come into the school. I know there's one called Clever Fish, and maybe Triple C School, and maybe one or two others that are already banned cell phones by children when they, school children when they come into the school. They got to check them in or something, or don't bring them. Mm-hmm. So I want to just go on record as saying I think it's a good move, as some of the members spoke in the debate pieces that I thought, is not an anti-innovation move. It's not an anti-information move. It's not censorship, but it's just sensible and wise.
Social media is sort of a Wild West.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's a good thing. Just like how AI is a good thing. Once it's not properly regulated, and once it just allows to go unbridled without any kind of sensible management, it's like everything else. Anything unbridled becomes very destructive. So
I mean, you and I grew up in a time when, the bully was in the schoolyard or in the park or whatever. And now social media is sort of the playground of today's youth. And
you have, that's right.
Some of the stories that I
have
hear
that.
and incidents that, I've heard about, it really is a place where if you are the type of person who wants to hurt people, you want to label people, make fun of them, and make them an outcast, the social media is the place to do it.
Yeah, it's the invisible enemy. But even though that enemy of social media is invisible, it's certainly not invincible, because it's a powerful enemy indeed.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like you say the big bully in the schoolyard. It's now something that is everywhere, and it needs to be controlled. So I want to go on record as to thank and commend the progressive member and all of the members of parliament for supporting this and for the debate. Like you said, it's the Wild West, as one person called it, and I think we've got to try to tail it and bring it under control. But parents also have a responsibility.
True.
And that's why right now, even, the devil is in the details, as they say, Chalo, with this thing, and how it's going to be enforced. How it's going to be enforced is another issue. How you're going to actually enforce this thing. But I think parents and responsible parents, mothers and fathers, in the home and otherwise, need to make sure that after a certain hour at night, whether they turn off their Wi-Fi or whether they restrict their children access to social media, they should be sleeping or getting to a point where they're getting ready to go sleep, because 10 or 11 o'clock at night on social media is not safe, and they and it's not healthy either, really. So I think parents have a responsibility, and like I say, how this thing is enforced is going to make all the difference. But I want to commend the Parliament for starting the process. The other thing, as I say, I've been advocating this for a while as well, and some people have raised it. Some schools have already done it even without legislation, and I commend them for that too. Charlotte, the other thing I want to just quickly say, and also commend the House for, and the elected and non-elected government, is for looking at this retirement age suggestion of increasing it from 65 to maybe 70 years old. I think it's something that, again, needs to be looked at, but I believe it's very sensible and it should be examined, because people are living longer.
Yes.
Life cost of living is higher, and so people want to work. And what's happening? What has happened for a while is that when you had, there's no established retirement age in the private sector. It's only in the public sector that you have a retirement age of 65. What has happened in the private sector in the past is because you had a age of pension eligibility of 60, which is now 65. People are using those dates as the time that you got to push somebody out from working.
Mm-hmm.
And because the Labor Act doesn't actually make it a crime, other than the discrimination section, I think Section 80 of the Act talks about discrimination. Because it's not a crime, people are using it as a means of pushing people out of work, right, even though they're willing and able to continue working. But if you had...
I've heard of cases where businesses, especially corporation types, that they come to the employee presenting it as if it is mandatory.
Yeah, some of them do. Some of them, as you approach the threshold of 60 and now 65, they come to people and tell them that, okay, it's time to go. Now, if you have a company that has an established retirement age that is not contrary to the law and is in contract, in your employment contract, mm-hmm, that's a different thing, because both parties agree to it. But even that, you can still do benefits that are in excess of the law or in excess of a contract if both parties agree to it, right? So you can actually make it better than what these things prescribe. But Chalo, the point I want to make is that in the labor relations bill that the Honorable Tara Rivers, when she was Minister for Labor, and then I was Director of Labor and Pensions, we had this bill forward, a labor relations bill is called, a very beautiful, big and beautiful bill, if you want to call it that. That had a lot of beautiful stuff in it, really good provisions in it. One of them is looking at the whole thing of retirement age. We didn't have it at 70 at that point, but what I'm saying is that the retirement age needs to be established. I think 70 is reasonable.
And we do have a labor shortage.
Exactly, we do have a labor shortage, especially Cayman.
Right, exactly. So you would help that by extending the working life of people.
Correct. Now, the thing to keep in mind is that it needs to be voluntary on the part of the employee. If the employee wants to go earlier than 70, if they want to go 65, there should also be provision for that in terms of any kind of pension drawdown ability. It be proportionate as is the case now. And also, the other thing is, as a previous pension superintendent and pension advocate on the island for many years, we also have to make sure that those people who are doing the investments for pensions, the investment managers and administrators, are also not going to be given any play in terms of their performance. They have to also still maintain the high levels of investment performance, so that people would get more from their retirement. That's part of the equation of trying to increase the retirement age, to make sure that people can get more accumulated and also not lose anything in terms of any kind of reckless investment management.
I think that whole thing needs to be revisited.
It does, but it needs to be done in a very sensible manner and with facts, and not with people trying to throw out pension and making all kind of allegations about things that are not the case. So it has to be done with facts. But the whole pension equation, I agree with Chalo, needs to be looked at, because we're a tax-free, income tax-free country, and so retirement planning and pensions is probably our only avenue to get something at the end of a working life. So it needs to be looked at, but it needs to be handled carefully. But I think that increasing the retirement age is a good strategy towards that, and I want to again commend the government and the policymakers and public and private sectors, elected and unelected, for looking at this long overdue topic, as well as what I started with, which was the banning of social media by children. I'll leave you there unless you have any questions for me, my friend, but I just wanted to kind of add to this discussion today. I thought it's very timely that you just mentioned it.
Mario, thanks for the call.
Okay,
you have a good afternoon.
Talk to you soon. Okay, you too.
We're going to take a break. Be right back.
Did you know that Doctors Hospital provides urgent care services 24 hours a day, 7 days a week? And Doctors Hospital's urgent care physicians have access to the most advanced MRI and CT imaging in the Caribbean, providing reliable diagnostics when you need it most. When you need quality urgent care for an illness or injury, Doctors Hospital is here for you 24/7. Whether it's a migraine, chest or abdominal pain, shortness of breath, broken bones, or another urgent need, Doctors Hospital at the top of Walker's Road. Urgent care right now.
Screenings are an important part of preventative care, yet 32% of women aged 25 to 49 living in Cayman have never had a cervical screening. Similarly, only 30% of men ages 18 to 69 report having had a prostate exam. The STEPS 2023 National Health Survey gives us information on the prevalence of risk factors for non-communicable diseases such as cancer. Your health matters. Let's step into Wellness Cayman. Learn more by logging on to gov.ky/steps.
Freedom, Cayman Rack. Freedom, Little Cayman. Soft breezes, blue waters, no traffic. Unwind and rejuvenate your mind, body, and soul. Sister Island Staycations, a taste of freedom. Discover all that our sister islands have to offer.
Hey, new drivers, don't just drive, drive smart. Cynical and Inspire Cayman's Safe Driver program will show you how. Get real-life simulator training and classroom sessions to help you gain experience, stay alert, and avoid accidents. Learn to recognize risk, manage fatigue, and make smart choices behind the wheel. Certified participants may even pay less for Cineco motor insurance. Learn more and register at cineco.ky. Cineco, keeping Cayman covered.
Celebrating 50 years of broadcasting in the Cayman Islands. This is Radio Cayman 89.9 FM.
Radio Cayman's Talk Today. What is on your mind, Cayman?
Welcome back, and we're going down the home stretch of the show here. Oh, we got about 8.5 minutes or so to go. If you want to give me a call, the number's 1-800-534-8255, courtesy of Flo, 949-8037, 949-6990, and WhatsApp, 925-3261. And we're just taking a look here at the roundup of what happened in the House yesterday. A couple of things that caught my eye here. This Deputy Premier and Minister of Tourism and Trade and Development, the Honourable Gary Ruddy, addressed the House on several appropriation matters. He reported that tourism scholarships received an increase of $250,000 to address a shortfall, and that was funded by a corresponding reduction in sports and culture tourism programs. He also noted that Cayman Airways' budget was increased by $201,000 to cover a $500 honorarium paid to staff, and that the Cayman Turtle Center received an increase of $52,500 for the same purpose. And both of those were funded by reductions to the Ministry of Education budget. That's interesting. Well, good to see, more people are taking advantage of the tourism scholarships. They had to actually put some more money in there to cover the scholarship scheme for being offered for people in tourism. So, as we've heard, 2026 tourism is booming, and we had some students on. Well, actually, they weren't students; they were actually working in tourism. They had gone through that DART hospitality training program and are now working in tourism. And people are seeing tourism more and more as something that they can make a career out of. We had heard so much in the past about Caymanians not wanting to get involved in tourism, but it seems like the attitude toward that is changing nowadays. But this thing, you cut the education budget, and to help pay for honorarium to people in a statutory authority. Well, I don't know why you would offer the honorarium if you didn't have that in the budget already, but now you have to go and take some money from the education budget to balance that out. Also, let's see what else happened. 4 bills were given their second and third readings and passed. The Traffic Amendment and Validation Bill 2026 had 2 technical changes. It refined the definition of a pedal-assisted cycle within the Traffic Act by removing the previous speed limitation and regularized an historic administrative matter relating to certain registration plates and fees. Parliamentary debate on the bill touched on the broader implications for e-bikes. E-bikes, back in the news. Members of the opposition supporting the bill whilst raising concerns about unintended consequences for micro-mobility device owners and the potential impact on traffic congestion. And the litter amendment bill, that increased fines for littering. For all you litter bugs out there, you can, if you're caught, you'll have to pay a higher fine. That expands enforcement powers for Department of Environmental Health officers and modernizes legislation that had not been meaningfully updated in nearly 30 years. Members called for a range of additional measures, including geotagged reporting applications, systems for reporting offenders, closer interagency collaboration on derelict vehicles. Yeah, that's one. People leaving their derelict vehicle on the road to be scrapped. And the expansion of surveillance cameras to known fly dipping locations. The collaborative nature of the debate was further reflected in the commitment from government to continue reviewing legislation and regulations. And the Registered Land Amendment Bill 2026 was described by the Minister for Planning, Lands, Agriculture, Housing and Infrastructure, the Honourable J. Ebanks, as a means to level the playing field for Caymanians aspiring to home ownership whilst maintaining confidence in Cayman's land and financial systems. The bill introduces greater transparency in the lending process and strengthens borrower protections in the event of default, among other improvements. And the Administrative Appeals Tribunal Bill 2025 was also passed. The bill establishes the framework for a new Administrative Appeals Tribunal, which will replace a range of existing specialist tribunals established under various acts to hear appeals. And let's see what else here. 6 government motions were approved during the sitting. Among them was a motion to recommend constitutional amendments to protect the boundaries of the 5 traditional districts on Grand Cayman, brought by Minister J. Ebanks. Minister Ebanks also laid a motion to establish a select committee to modernize the Advisory District Council Act 2011. We've been waiting for those advisory district councils for quite a while. During his contribution, Premier Andre Ebanks noted that upon taking office, the NCFC government had been asked by the Constitutional Commission to prioritize the establishment of the councils and to align with and uphold Constitution. The members of the proposed select committee will be Minister Ebanks, Minister Rankin, Minister Ebanks-Wilkes, Minister DaCosta, the Honourable Juliana O'Connor-Connolly, MPs Kenneth Bryan and Christopher Saunders. So those are some of the things that went on yesterday in the House. Of course, Radio Cayman will keep you up to date with live coverage and also recorded coverage in the evening of the proceedings in the House. Well, that's it for me for today. Thank you all for tuning in. Thanks for those who have called. I'm Charles Glidden. One love.
Talk Today is brought to you by the Ministry of District Administration. Explore your history. Explore your land. Explore your sister islands. And Doctors Hospital. Peace of mind is important when life happens. Doctors Hospital. Always there for you. Call 949-6066.
Radio Cayman. Hi everyone, this is Paulette Connolly. One of my favorite memories of Radio Cayman growing up was listening to the